chapter one.
Yeah.
After the fifth chapter. Say goodbye to chakras, 13 moments.
Also in 18 sloka he talks of the thing when the pitta mixes with the blood, which they call in Ayurveda Rakta Pitta. And exactly the same symptoms are there. Either you have itching all over body, it becomes red. So he says very much importance is given on you should try to focus your attention on the same point wherever the problem is. And they say it has a wonderful effect provided you are able to focus with the apt attention. Now remember one thing, this treatment part also not to be done by a person, it also has to be taken into consideration the teacher, how it is to be done. Even he said for treatment of this, you can lie down and do 2-3 pranayama. But squeezing the air out completely is also very, very important, that you throw the air out and external kumbha. Most of the things they give much importance. So because basically they think it happens because of wrong pranayama. And when it happens wrong pranayama, the vata is to be treated by vata. Just like a thorn has to be taken out with another thorn. That is the concept. So that is why they have given much importance of self. You are on that point, concentrate, follow it, and also try to squeeze your body, either your life, or in some cases, now in this case, they will say you do 2-3 times pranayama while lying down. And when something comes, as I said yesterday, also they have kept open that Veda Shastra, you should, if you are unable to tackle the thing, you should approach some good Ayurvedic physician. So that is the approach. Many times, yatra yatra, in 23 they say the same thing. Now 24, they say, if there is a fear complex, somebody said, no, this has happened because of something. It is happening because of the fear, doubt you have in your mind that maybe this has happened again. He says, no, you should increase the practice. And when the results start coming, good results, you will come to know that that is not the reason what other person is telling. Fear is not the reason. Only reason can be your wrong practice and wrong practice of pranayama, because the pressure variation in the lungs many times causes. So the main thing of it is not a general therapy for people, not advised. Only those people who are carelessly practicing pranayama and the pranic energy just has a wrong direction takes, then you start having some problem. For that, the external kumbha Even after food, at one point they have said you should do it. With lying down, you should also try it. And if nothing happens, you approach the physician, Ayurvedic physician. So very open, when they do not have anything in mind that no, you will have to cure it only by yoga. But they say whatever, if that point comes when nothing is helping you, don't hesitate to approach the Vaidya. According to Ayurvedic system, you should try to cure it. So, in nutshell, we see that the whole 5th chapter is meant only for those who by mistake or by carelessness, they practice pranayama and something develops in them. So it is totally devoted to correct the flow of pranic energy in your system so that the obstacle is removed and you have the same path which was meant to go. We will start for tomorrow.
We'll go back to questions. Catherine.
So Raji, yesterday you were talking about how out of the 3 doshas, if there's an imbalance, then usually you need to address Vata to help address the Pitta and the Kapha. So I was wondering if you could talk about that a little more and explain why Vata has such a powerful
You know this concept of Vata, Pitta and Kapha is based on the Sankhya philosophy only. The 5 elements you all know, earth, water, fire, space. They say the fire, earth and water and space, this is Kapha. Fire, element of fire, space and water, that is Pitta. And Vata, space and Vata, they are from the space. Now, what is one thing in there, why they give more importance to Vata? Say for example, there is a Pitta. The nature of Pitta is fire. With fire the air expands. It moves from the place of Vata, goes into region of Pitta. Or it goes to region of Kapha, then different type of disorder will come up. So they have given, not that they have neglected Pitta and Kapha, but basic they feel that at the base of every disorder, movement of Vata is very important. And movement of Vata depends upon the pranic energy. So that is why they say you have to take care of Vata very much. And that is one of the reasons why a work Nighantu has come. They have defined everything, that what this food item or spice or meat or fish, what quality it has, what it gives in your body, what it will enhance. And if it enhances, then how to be taken? Now say for example, I think I have talked last also, that different vegetable have their own nature, because also they are formed out of 5 basic elements. Now some are there which gives you a lot of mucus, some are there will give you a lot of Vata. So accordingly the spices are to be selected which can calm down the things. Now say for example, you prepare eggplant. Now you will be, in eggplant you will not use cumin, you will use fenugreek, because fenugreek is known to take away the bad effect of Vata. So such things which are treated. Now, wherever the mucus, suppose it creates, then ginger will be used. And also for different things, pitta is more, the cumin will be used, because cumin pacify the. So accordingly, the main thing they keep in mind that what has Vikriti. Because only they are tackling your Vikriti, they don't tackle, you have not to interfere with the Prakriti. Whatever your Prakriti is, that has its own restrictions. That is another thing. But Vikriti has come, so they have to treat with food, with herbal medicine or something. So that is main concentration is of the Vata. Don't become serious.
Is it possible that if you were not practicing pranayama and a condition happens, you have pain somewhere, could that pain actually cause vata for just a normal person? Instead of the vata causing the pain, can the pain cause the vata? And even in a practitioner, even if it wasn't improper practice, but just
Pain will not come vata.
I'm sorry?
Pain will not cause vata.
Pain would aggravate the pitta then?
No, pain is caused by vata.
So it's always okay. It's never the other way around.
No.
Okay.
Yes. If it is psychological thing, it can create vata.
I think part of the challenge here is just trying to relate these words Vata, Pitta, Kapha to, our, say, a different education and our understanding of the body and how it works, because, what is that? Some gas moving in the body? So, how could we get a little bit clearer just on what Vata is in a more substantial sense, or it's obviously then more than just gases, right? How can we relate that a little bit better? Because it brings up a lot of confusion, I know, and not just now, for years and years and years. And people use it then in pseudo language. Oh, I'm having a vata reaction, or my pitta is off.
No, but if you Ayurveda you consult, they say there are 10 type of vata. Just like you say in modern terminology, the cases, there are different types of cases. So prana, pan, saman, vyananda, they all play part. But they are called as a vata. All are called as a vata. Then you have to go specify whether apan is disturbed, or udana is disturbed, or vyana is disturbed.
Yeah, so vayus then. So then we're getting more.
Vayu is same.
Yeah, so then we're getting more into the neuroendocrine system, parts of the nervous system. When it's off, impact on inflammation, and so on.
It's metaphors. I try to get people rather to think of vata as being something very physical as it manages the neuroendocrine, pitta managing more of the digestion, kapha managing more of sort of the construction, and so it's not, we can't exactly, we just can't, because it's like trying to merge two schools of philosophy. You couldn't do it, right? You wouldn't take Samkhya with some Western philosophy and match them up exactly. It's hard.
Interesting.
Yeah, but I think, and like Tiwari said, there are more specific forms of vata, so when you get very precise about where the movement or where it's happening, and I would say rather than thinking of labeling it as vata, pitta, kapha, think about the qualities. Describe it in a little more detail that way. Then it becomes more precise, because in Ayurveda they use the 20 attributes which describe everything. And that's where you get more precise, and they come from, like, if you were to describe the elements, that would give you those, like, Vata is dry, it moves, that sort of thing. Pitta having heat, Kapha having water. But it's not exact either. Sorry to worry you. But because I get a lot of confusion from people too, and you can't exactly.
Because see,
Western mind is different.
you have to know the root,
Yeah.
that knowledge, unless you have, you
Yeah.
cannot. Say for example, one has diarrhea. Now it is not because of prana, it is because of apana. You have vomiting. It is not because of apana. It is because of udana. So then they don't classify. Those 10 values play their own important part.
So I think from that it gets worked well in a descriptive, diagnostic sort of
Yeah.
sense. But if we're trying to figure out how my body is working physiologically, it's very difficult to explain that with Vata, Pitta, Kapha. Almost impossible, and hence why you'll have, disagreements maybe across these modern medicine and older medicine. But I think there must be a bridging ground.
Basic, like the nervous system, like you mentioned. For Vata, I think it's like
Because you see, I've been asked this in these scientific settings. Well, how would you relate these values? Because a lot of them are exposed to them from the Tibetan Buddhist studies as well. So how are you going to relate? Just ask. How would I relate that to what we know of the nervous physiological system? See, and so that's where it is. And you can kind of relate, but then you can't be exact. But then we get a bit confused because Vata's off, constipation, what is that in my nervous system, or endocrine, how it works. Just this challenge.
How the whole perception is changed, because of the modern terminology.
Yeah, so it's like people getting confused with Mula Bandha, It was a specific term in these teachings that have no relationship in what we describe things in body, physiology, anatomy today. And so then, if it's crudely understood, it's just squeeze or something like that. And so it's trying to translate that over.
Even remove nerve you cannot, nadis you cannot translate.
Yeah. Because it's not...
Nadis are not nerves. Though there is no other word, we have to say that.
And so I know these Korean researchers are trying to do that with the meridian system.
Mm-hmm.
So meridian may be like nerve, and it's from their analysis at least it's involving the nerve and the vascular system and into the lymphatic. It's almost all the channels in their flow. So it's a little tricky. But something goes on in the body. So Anthea, Daphne, and I just saw another, was Matthias? Okay.
In terms of the causes of Vata going high, is it correct to say that Rajasic, like a Rajasic lifestyle, Rajasic foods have a high influence on that?
She's wondering if, when Vata being forced high, is it correct to say that the Rajasic approach to life, either through food or living, impacts or causes that Vata to go high?
Many things are there which can cause not one or two. See a person, for example, I am feeling nice, healthy, and I go to, because some pain is happening, and I go to the doctor, he does MRI, and says, I have cancerous growth. You can understand how will be the psychology. The word cancer will change so many things. Stress level, so many things. So many things depend upon your own imagination, how it is explained to you, and how you take one thing, whether totally negatively or positively, all depends. And so many factors are there. There are certain important factors, but there are many other factors which can cause vata for nothing to go up.
Yes, Daphne, you have a question.
Yes, that's right. I was going to ask about anxiety and fear. Like Nadia said, can pain cause vata? He was saying, Toriji said that the mental state can cause vata too. So he just answered my question. I was asking how it manifests in the body when it comes from a mental state.
Yeah, she was just looking at kind of the mental, psychological impact.
Mm-hmm.
And
There's
actually,
a lot of anxiety and fear, and we're coming from America, and there's a lot of pharmaceutical drugs that are now used. A family member of mine is dealing with that. So I'm just wondering how that, when it does manifest in the body through the mind, is there, what it would be, his experience dealing with people that, when that happens, then what do you do? Is pranayama the best sheet towel? Here for everything.
no, but what you're asking is interesting because, the actual threat and perceived threat cause the same reaction in the brain, call it stress if you like, and the same response in the body, see? And obviously today there's less actual threat because there's no tiger waiting at the door for us or someone with a knife to chop our head off. That's decreased somewhat. Depends where you are in America, I guess. What elementary school you go to, any of that. So the perceived one has grown a lot, and the huge anxiety and other stuff. So she's asking how then, in a perceived stress, perceived threat that is more like mental based, mental illness coming to anxiety and depression, how would you handle that from a vata management?
See, attitude is very much responsible. One should immediately don't fall prey to negativity. Positivity also exists. Generally, mind takes you towards negativity. I tell you one incident which is correct. Means when there was no this, I am talking of nearly 50 years before, when telegrams used to be sent. The Indian government announced that remove Bhrashtachar from the offices. Bhrashtachar means corruption. Okay, the telegram was sent in Hindi. The person was Bengali. Now, his surname was Bhattacharya. So, the mistake in sending telegram, it was conveyed, remove Bhattacharya from office. The poor man was sacked from the office. Now, he had a first heart attack, lying in the hospital. Then, one of his colleagues said, why not? We will spend some money, let us talk to Delhi. So he phoned, he said, no, we did not write Bhattacharya, we wrote Bhrashtacharya. So just see, and immediately improvement was there. When they came to know that this is not this, this is it. So how much mind has an effect on you, can't imagine. It can create Buddha or it can create a madman also. At one hand, Buddha will become total, mind will disappear. On another hand, madman will become total and total mind will be full. So it has, that is why Patanjali has started with Chitta. Because in yoga they believe first Chitta tells the body, then body tells the Chitta. Both are interdependent.
So there was Matthias. You have a follow on that?
It's direct.
Yeah.
Go
It is
first.
actually. Tuaraji, there's a lot of mental illness now, so anxiety is one, but also just depression and various forms of it. And they say that sometimes it is caused by hormonal imbalance. Have you done any work on that at all, or is there traditional? I mean, from ancient texts, is there a cure for that? Because sometimes you cannot correct your attitude because the problem is so severe, the mind is so pervasive that they are not able to apply, okay, you're thinking negative thoughts, think positive thoughts, and then they get medicine. So is there anything they can do instead of taking?
We have not done any work.
But in the text there's nothing about, when you're really, you have a mental illness. Is there a
No,
pranayama?
there is.
Yeah.
Only they say, under your teacher, pranayama should be increased. But not specific. In Ayurveda, yes. Ayurveda there is. And effective. Very effective.
I think, like part of the problem might be someone's depressed and cannot start yoga practice even or start pranayama. So there's the challenge.
Or then you give them something simple, I don't know.
Or maybe, otherwise we keep open. Maybe at that time yoga may not help, so you can have some medicine, and when it feels better, then start yoga.
To get them out of the, to just
We should
get
not-
over.
We should not be closed. Because the purpose is to relieve him from the difficulty.
Matthias, one of the quick questions.
Still, I have two questions. As a follow-on, would then, against anxiety, what pranayama would you suggest? Because if it's a vata disturbance, would it be Suyavedana or?
For anxiety,
Yeah.
generally we give Shitali and Ujjayi. Very effective.
Would that work for depression? Or it depends. Would that also work for depression, Shitali? And
For
would Shitali and Ujjayi also work for depression,
Yeah.
like anxiety?
both. Both.
And my second question is the external Vastrika that we started doing. Is it just an intensification of the internal Vastrika, or is there something?
No, really speaking, why it is taught, it is sometimes respiratory trouble happens. This is correct. It is a curative measure for any difficulty arises because of not respecting the time and attention of the prayer. Sometimes it comes. Then it works very well.
Very good, we'll stop there. Yeah. And take a little break.